Have you ever seen those movies where the ending scene is a romantic couple dancing in the rain? He spins her, she smiles at him, and then they just waltz until the credits roll. While this sort of chemistry might seem idealistic, what if I told you that ballroom dancing actually does have an effect on relationships? Ballroom dancing is an umbrella term that describes partner dancing that can be done either socially or competitively. Some popular dances include waltz, salsa, cha-cha, and salsa. Now, whether you have a partner that you've only met that night, or you have a long-term competition partner, your connection with your partner is vital. And let's be honest, you may never perform in a ballroom competition, but I can guarantee that you will dance with someone at some point, and it may even be next week at ballroom night.
Oh, that's cute.
I've been ballroom dancing for 4 years, and while I usually have a partner that I just met that night, I've also had long-term partners. I know from my own personal experience that ballroom dancing has had an effect on my interpersonal relationships with my partners. So because of ballroom dancing, dance partners can form closer and interpersonal relationships. This connection is multifaceted and can be accomplished through physical, mental, and emotional bonds due to ballroom dancing. Because of the physical aspect of ballroom dancing, closer relational connections are made. According to Claire Boucher-Murray, a doctoral student in psychology at Cardiff University, in a Frontiers in Psychology study done in 2022, quote, interpersonal synchrony serves as a social signifier and promotes social outcomes like increased affiliation, end quote. So social synchrony is just a word for when people move in tandem together, like in dancing. So because dancers are coordinating their movements together, they're forging physical connections together. Another aspect of ballroom dancing is that it's very aesthetic. It's an art form, right? And so this can be accomplished through something called frame. So a leader's frame typically embodies a big and a strong posture, as you can see in this picture. And then a follower is meant to act with grace as she is spun and led around the floor. So as dance partners try to improve their coordination by increasing their aesthetic movements, they find that they're sometimes attracted more physically towards their partner because they're just trying to look better, to be more coordinated. Now that I've discussed the physical connections that can be formed through ballroom dancing, I will discuss the mental aspect of ballroom dancing. Because of the thought required to dance well, the mental connections can be forged between ballroom dance partners. An interesting thing about ballroom dancing is that it improves both mental flexibility and mental concentration. An example of this can be how partners sometimes have to navigate a really busy and ever-changing dance floor while maintaining concentration on their partner. In a 2024 article by Fred Astaire Dance Studios, which is an organization that hosts annual and national dance ballroom competitions, they found that, quote, the intense concentration required to help ballroom dancers stay fully present made a big impact, end quote. So yes, there's a lot going on, but by the mental taxing that it takes to focus on your partner, mental bonds can be created. Another aspect of ballroom dancing is teamwork. And there's a leader and a follower, but at the end of the day, both the partners have to be really mentally aware of each other in order to understand what's going to happen next. So in this picture specifically, you can see that my partner has his hand on my shoulder. And that specific move could lead into all sorts of things, like, I don't know, maybe he's gonna spin me, maybe I'm supposed to keep moving, but his hand is stopping me, and that signals to me that something else is going to happen, something's going to change. And so, even though moves are set, ballroom itself is not scripted, and so you have to be really mentally on the same page to understand what's going to happen next. Now that I've discussed the mental aspects of ballroom dancing, I will discuss how emotional bonds can be formed through ballroom dancing. Because ballroom dancing requires you to be in tune with your partner, emotional bonds can be created. In a study done by Shou Wu, published in the National Library of Medicine in 2023, the connection between ballroom and empathy was discussed. Similar to how ballroom dancers try to reflect each other's physical movements, they found that, quote, duo dancers exhibit higher empathetic responses, end quote. And I think that kind of makes sense, because the more you get to know someone, the easier it is to reflect their emotional state. So as ballroom dancers interact with each other and dance together, they can form closer emotional bonds by practicing empathy together. Dancing as a whole is also considered a form of emotional expression. And in ballroom dancing, this can be expressed specifically towards your dance partner. And so I don't know how much dancing y'all have seen, but to me there's a really big difference between partners who are just partners and partners who are partners and romantic partners. And it is kind of hard to describe, but I think it's fundamentally body language that we all understand if we'd see it. And so this can be expressed through a couple of body language things like lingering touch, or just kind of the expression that's shared in this picture. And so as ballroom dancers exhibit these body language cues to each other, they can form emotional connections towards each other. In conclusion, ballroom dancers have connections that are formed through a variety of ways. It can be done physically, as ballroom dancers move in tandem together. Mental connections can be made as both partners are mentally invested into the next move and knowing what happens next. And emotional bonds are forged by the empathy that they practice with each other. So really, maybe the movies do have some truth to them. It might be that ballroom dancing has a bigger effect on relationships than we thought.